Hello, cats and kittens. MamaCatGamer here. And I'm going to double check the sound real quick. Hope I don't blow my ears out here. Hello, cats and kittens. MamaCatGamer here. All right. Thank you for the patience on that. All right. We just had DDoS, which is why I'm late getting on, because I had to wait for the server to come back up and wait for my tune to log in. I was like 1,000 in the queue. So I apologize for the delay on that. And so we're going to get going. Today we are going to tackle the Starlight Celebration. It's the annual kind of, Christmas holiday kind of event, and I'm recording this on Christmas Eve. So I'm hoping you're having some great holidays, everybody. Enjoy Solstice. Happy Hanukkah to those who celebrate that. Merry Christmas to everyone who celebrates. We're enjoying the Christmas season very much. Although my daughter is sick right now. She's just miserable. I feel bad for her. I say a little prayer for all of you who are not feeling well today. And I hope you get well very, very soon. And, all right. We're going to start off with the Starlight Celebration. I put a, a little festive kind of wintry outfit on for this. We're going to talk to Amgaranji. Amgaranji could use some help from an adventurer. This quest is available for a limited time only. Gav, what a pleasure it is to see you again in this most festive of seasons. Allow me to reiterate my thanks for your contributions to Starlight's past. Inspired by an old Ishgardian tale, the Starlight Celebration is about granting the wishes of children, and this year we are bringing back the festive market that offers joy and merriment to young and old alike, the Starlight Stalls. The first time around, the Caroline Canopies supplied us with Kinder Punch, a kind of mulled punch which we provided to guests. It proved tremendously popular, so we are planning to provide it again with a twist. Alas, with all the celebrants busy tending to the preparation at the stalls, we haven't been able to get working on said twist. If you're not otherwise occupied, might you be willing to help us a hand, or lend us a hand? Of course. I am truly grateful. Without further ado, please join me at the Caroline Canopy stall at the market. There I shall explain the particulars to you. When you are ready, the guide yonder will be glad to escort you through. I shall see you anon. And hold that thought for a moment. Realized I wanted to put a comment up. All right. Let's go to the Starlight Stalls guide now. Ah, so you are the adventurer who has agreed to help us. If you would follow me, I shall take you to the Starlight Stalls. Let's go there. I can hear myself talking. That's always a weird feeling, you know? This is so cute. They did such a nice job with this. The punch is so good. Seriously. Right, here's Amgaranji. My thanks again for assisting us. I've asked Miyun to join me in explaining our punch plans. She should be along any moment now. Ah, so you're the adventurer who's been roped in to help. Mother Miyun, you know me. An excellent choice given the fine work you did distributing the punch last festival. It was a favorite among attendees, and the mugs had the desired effect of promoting the Carline canopy. When I mentioned this to my guild counterparts in the other city-states, they were keen to have their homes represented on the mugs as well, and so we had these beauties made. They bear local vistas and motifs, such as a galleon for Limsa Laminza and a cactuar for Ulda, with seasonal flourishes worked in for the festive touch. So since we have now 3 lovely mugs, we thought it might be fitting to serve up 3 varieties of Kinder Punch. Miyun says, in Gridania, punch is traditionally made by simmering the juice of locally grown apples and blood currants, cinnamon, and various herbs. For the lemons and Anuldan varieties, I'm keen to incorporate ingredients found in their respective locales, but I haven't been able to decide on what. Says, and therein lies our request. Lively Youth says, hello, could we get some mulled punch, please? Whoa, new mug designs! Are the pictures of other cities? I wonder what they're like. Like how they have gulls on the Limsa one. Ah, young Jewel 10. The punch isn't ready yet, but it shan't be long now. We're currently preparing 2 new varieties, you see, using ingredients from the cities shown on these mugs. It does me well to see the youngling's curiosity for faraway lands. It further motivates me to serve up Kinder Punch that will not disappoint. Which brings me back to the task we have for you. We ask that you investigate what ingredients we should use to create punch that best captures each nation. Gridania's market attracts many visitors from the realm over, and adventurers such as yourself should have no trouble identifying suitable individuals and coaxing out the relevant information. Your confidence is most assuring. I shall apprise the other celebrants of the situation and then return to Mikado's amphitheater. I look forward to your findings. Does Jewel Tane have anything? So you're an adventurer? That's so amazing! All right, we have to speak with the visitors to Gridania near the markets. Ul'dan merchant. You wish to make a drink that represents Ul'dah? Tea would be a good place to start. We Ul'dans can't get through the day without a good, strong brew. It's served up anywhere you can get a feed. Doesn't matter if it's a slap-up meal or just a sweet treat. I've heard tell that the Sultana takes hers with generous helpings of butter and honey. Aside from tea, Thanalan has specialties like vanilla, cloves, black pepper, and pearl ginger. The finest stuff can cost as much as gemstones. What's that? Ingredients that are distinctly Ul'dan? Well, most of my countrymen would say nopal and spices, but that would be selling our cuisine short, for dining should be an adventure. The thrill of the unknown, the triumph of audacity. A dish should have all the drama of a championship bout at the Colosseum. Oh, yes! Such an experience may be a little stimulating for children, but we grown-ups can appreciate a little excitement. Wouldn't you agree? Gav's going, maybe? Leminson chef. I want to make punch. You want to make punch with a Leminson twist? Then you'll want to use plenty of Lanosian oranges, lowland grapes, and lemons. Lanosian citrus is renowned far and wide. It's featured heavily in Leminson cuisine ever since sailors started using it to ward off scurvy. And I always ensure that our restaurant has ample stock. I'm in charge of procurement at the Bismarck, you see. If you're after quality citrus, I'd be glad to introduce you to our suppliers. Great. Your factoid for today. I think sailors in the British Royal Navy used to be called limeys because they stocked up on limes during voyages, particularly long voyages, because scurvy is caused by a lack of vitamin C. You don't see that very often these days. You know, so much of the food is actually fortified with various vitamins. But back then, on a long voyage that could last for several months, that would be an issue because, you know, you don't have a lot of access to fresh fruits and vegetables. Speak with Amgarani. I'm going to go back to Miketo. And citrus, like oranges, lemons, and limes, have a lot of vitamin C. So the British sailors supposedly had to eat one lime every day. Welcome back, Gav. Were you able to learn anything promising? Oh, those ingredients seem representative of limbs and lemons and Ul'dan. Indeed. We celebrants should be able to procure the items, so pray leave it to us. Once the Kinder Punch has been prepared, we should be pleased if you would do the honors to serve it. And when it is time, please present yourself to my colleague at the Starlight Stalls. You can count on me, he says. And if you happen to have a moment right now, might I trouble you to speak with the little ones from earlier? I am hoping that you could learn which city holds the greatest interest for each of them. In so doing, you might be able to recommend varieties of punch that might be the most meaningful. Hello, everyone. If you were in game, I hope you didn't get DDoS'd. I have heard that it seems in North America to be associated with a particular node in Texas. And it seems that people who are connected to the California node aren't suffering from DDoS issues as much as the rest of the nation is, North American region is. So if you have access to a VPN and you can, set it to California so that you're linked to the California node instead of the Texas node, that might help some of the DDoS problems. So I haven't set up my VPN. I may do that soon because I'm getting a little annoyed with having this happen daily at least, and sometimes 2 or 3 times a day. It's getting to be very problematic. The Starlight stalls are in full swing. Will you be heading there? I love this game, but it's a little hard to play when you can't log in. Oh, let's see. Bright girl. Welcome to the Starlight Stalls. The punch is almost ready. I can't wait to have some. What do I like to eat? Fruits. We have apples and berries here in the wood, but I'd love to try fruits from other places too. This is kind of a nice area to get a picture. For those of you who like G-posing, this is probably a great place to do it. Because there's a lot of really nice areas. Decorations are really pretty. Oh, they even have like flowers. These look like poppies. Kind of fun to see all the stalls. Quiet Girl says, "To giving out hot drinks? That sounds great. I'm visiting with my mom. It's my first time in Gridania, so I guess I want to learn more about everything here." Jewel10 says, "Oh, you're the adventurers from before. The mulled punch is almost ready. Hooray!" I want to learn about all new places, so it's hard to decide on a punch. There's no ocean in Gridania, so it's my dream to go sailing everywhere on a big ship. Alright, Saturnine Starlight Celebrant. Excellent timing. We've received the last of the ingredients and are now brewing the new varieties of Kinder Punch. We expect a throng of children will descend upon us as soon as we begin serving. Are you ready to attend to them? I'm ready. Following event cannot be skipped. You may wish to cancel any pending duty finder registrations. They're not kidding on that. Actually, it looks pretty good. Well, if you took a nap during the DDoS, that was fine, because then you weren't missing anything. Took me a while to log back in. Amiable boy, a friend of mine used to live in Ul'dah, and he tells me this stories about it. I've always wanted to know what it's like there, if you have something like that. Well, let's give him some Ul'dah punch. Wow, this is really good, like a sweet tea with spices. Is this what Ul'dah smells like, I wonder? I'm going to get my friend to come too. There's Godbert Manderville back there. I'd love to see what fruits from other places taste like. Do you have a punch that's made with them? Lemons and punch, actually. Oh, it's sour but sweet. I love it. I had no idea they grew so many kinds of citruses in Laodicea. Gotta have a nutkin run through, right? I'm surprised there's no thankword there. Bold boy, you're here for punch too? Come on, let's go up together. All right, says the quiet girl. Bold boy says, I heard there's a place called the Coliseum where gladiators fight each other. I want a punch that'll make me feel like I'm there. Well, we're gonna give him an Ul'dah punch. Hello again. I've never had mulled punch before. I'm not sure which one I should try. The Grenadian one. So the Coliseum is in Ul'dah? I'd love to see a fight there one day, but right now there's a fight in my mouth. Whew, the spices in this punch sure pack a punch. Quiet girl says, thank you, I love the apple flavor and the mug is beautiful too, so I hope I can meet some Muggles while I'm in Gridania. No, really? No, no, you really don't want to. They'll make you do all their chores for them. Joltane says, oh, what to choose? I suppose I'd like a punch that makes me feel like I'm sailing somewhere far away. Well, let's do lemons and punch then. Wow, what a great blend of flavors. And I just love the design on the mug. Ships like this that connect the whole world. Thank you, mister. I've had a lot of fun. Seems the children really enjoyed their punch. You did well indeed with your selections. From here on, we celebrants will tend to the punch distribution with your fine example as a guide. You need only report back to Garanji. She'll be eager to know how we fare. Now you can get a little bit of XP from doing this event, so that's why I'm doing it on my summoner even. Though I forgot to summon my carbuncle. Talk to Garanji. I've just finished putting out a few proverbial fires at the guild, so I thought I'd come by and see how you were getting on. Says Miyun. Says, the more the merrier, as I always say. And if you're here, my friend, may I assume that the Kinder Punch has been handed out to the little ones as planned? We are truly in your debt. With your help, we have not only brought the children festive cheer, but also expanded their horizons. Mian says, of course, they're all more than welcome to return and try the other types of punch. The longer they enjoy themselves at the stalls, the better. Jultain says, there you are, Adventure. I wanted to thank you again, and Miss Garanji and Miyun, too. Says, it was absolutely our pleasure. If you enjoyed the punch, then nothing would please us more. When I grow up, I want to be someone who knows lots about the world like you, mister. I'll go and see what's out there for myself and tell everyone all about it. I want to tell everyone about Gridania, too. The Starlight Stalls have reminded me just how much I love it here. Says, that is a wonderful wish, and I've no doubt that the spinner herself has heard it. Mune says, when the time comes, it'll be my pleasure to register you as an adventurer, young man, and I'll look forward to hearing your tales of courage and high adventure. And that goes for you as well, of course. It seems you've truly inspired young Jultain, and should you still have time to spare, you could potentially inspire even more souls by helping us serve up more Kinderpunch. We'll also be glad if you simply enjoyed the festivities here on. It is entirely up to you. While the celebration continues, our guide will be pleased to show you to the stalls. My thanks again, Gav, and happy Starlight. We get emotes. The vendors at the Starlight stalls are now open for business. You can speak to the Saturnine Starlight Celebrant at the Starlight stalls if you wish to help serve more Kinderpunch. In so doing, you may well encounter some familiar faces. I'll have to check that out later. Oh, sorry, it was a long night. And then I woke up like really early. All right, we learned the emotes. We learned like 6 emotes there. Gridanian Sip, Uldan Sip, Leminzin Sip, Gridanian Gulp, Uldan Gulp, and Leminzin Gulp. Let's see what they look like. Did I do that right? No, I left a space. All right, let's do Leminzin Gulp. Oh, I left the space between it again. Out of habit. This is like a ongoing one. I guess so. So if you want to continually sip, you can do the gulp one. And if you want to just sip twice, you do the sip one. I can't remember if I know the snowball throw thing. Nope. I think there's a guy you talked to in Ishgard about unlocking the ability to throw a snowball. And then when you stand on a snowball patch, like this, and you do /throw, you'll throw a snowball. But I haven't apparently done that little quest. The Starlight Celebrant has the same things as in the stall in the little instance area. So you can buy some decorations for your home or apartment and some food. The food's not, it's not very high level food at all. It's not going to give you great stats. But, if you need some 3% XP bonus and you don't mind spending, 2,000 on it, that's fine. If you really need the XP bonus, go get a boiled egg instead, because that's what, 3 gil or something like that. All right. The anomalies. Speak with Jesse. Oh, I think that unlocks another normal raid. Maybe? Let's go unlock that. Oh, let's see what Nero has to say. How would Alpha react to seeing a normal chocobo, I wonder? Nero, certainly you have more important things to think about than that. Sid, I've apprised Jessie of our travails, but you may want to let her know you've returned. She claims to have been quite worried. Welcome back, Gav. I'm told you've been blazing a trail for us. The way I hear it, our investigation would have long since ground to a halt without you. I realize you've mostly interested in saving the world, but I want you to know how much I appreciate you helping the company out like this. Frankly, we need all the help we can get, what with our esteemed president diving headlong into the jaws of danger without a word of warning to anyone. Irresponsible doesn't begin to describe it. Nero says, you didn't tell her. Sid says, I did, after a fashion, though I may have exercised some executive discretion. Jesse says, I'm no stranger to your lone endeavors or your habit of confusing personal and company interests, but just because you've always done things a certain way, it doesn't make it the right way. And until you wake up to your responsibilities, I'm going to keep reminding you of them. But such irksome matters aside, aren't you just the most adorable little thing? Kev's going, maybe not. Jesse says, he followed you here of his own free will, did he? Which means he's basically part of the family. And why wouldn't he grant us exclusive rights to use his likeness? Shall we start off with a simple clockwork version? They'll be queuing up in the streets. Oh, you can't be... What the seven L's has gotten into you? Listen, if I've caused you any distress, I apologize, but I will not have you comment on our guest's marketability. Where are Biggs and Wedge? Shouldn't they be back by now? Jesse says, oh, I thought you might have sent them off on another unauthorized mission. Last I heard from them, they said they were scouring Omega Control for anything useful. Would have been a good while ago now, though. I don't like the sound of this. Though we have all the necessary permissions, the area is technically a theater of war and one littered with unknown Allagan artifacts to boot. Anything may well have befallen them. We'd best take the Excelsior and go and find them. Leaving again so soon? Nero, Gav, I want you two to accompany the chief. Make sure he doesn't do anything rash or take any detours. Nero told Skava, says, consider it done. I shall bring him back, even if I have to drag him by the goggle straps. She's like, grinning. Elf says, Quay, Quay, Quay. Sid says, you want to come along, eh? It's probably for the best. If we leave you here, Jesse is liable to make a mold of you. Right, let's get moving. I'll bring the airship to Gridania. Wait for me at the landing. Does Jesse have anything else for us? If our esteemed president thinks he's heard the last of this, he's wrong. But our people's safety comes first. Take care, all right? Speak with Sid in Gridania. Looks like we're all here. Let's make haste to the Cartno Flats. I like how they have a little flame decoration on the pods there. Sid says, go on ahead to the control room, Gav. We'll follow as soon as we have moored the Excelsior. Uh-oh. Big says he is unconscious. Wedge. Seven hells, Bix, Wedge. Sid says, are you all right? Answer me. Chief? Gav? A monster appeared out of thin air. Targets exhibit vital signs. Mission failed. However, Alpha Group members exhibit heightened levels of stress. Objective fulfilled. Omega, you set that thing upon them. Affirmative. I am able to create simple life forms instantaneously at any temporal or spatial coordinate. Such beings may pose a negligible threat to you. However, they are more than sufficient to grievously wound or kill the majority of your kind. I could instigate a massacre at any time and you would be powerless to prevent it. Nero says, do I detect a shift in policy? Quantity over quality? Omega says, negative. My objective remains unchanged. Evolution through formidable opposition. However, in the course of seeking suitable subjects, I observed an anomaly. Those whom you call heroes. History shows numerous instances of otherwise unremarkable individuals who have defeated vastly superior beings, who triumphed in the face of apparently impossible odds, who performed what are popularly termed miracles. This has occurred too frequently to be dismissed as a mere statistical aberration. I seek to understand this phenomenon. Should it prove to be of benefit, I will incorporate it into my own evolution. It is for this purpose that I brought you to my domain. Oh, even the duck is, like, upset. Nero says, So, putting on a show at the Yawn and planting Alpha in our midst was but a part of your grand plan. Omega says, by your victories, you have demonstrated the self-same anomaly. You are fit to remain my subjects. You will continue participating in my experiment. Withdraw, and I will commence the extermination of your kind. That is an order, a threat, a declaration of war. I am an enemy to all life upon the star. Well, isn't that encouraging? Twould seem we have much to ponder, but first things first, we must tend to our friends. Quickly, help me carry them. I like how Alpha goes over to the biggest one. I'm going to carry him on our little wings here. All right, Nero. Garland and Alpha took our 2 wounded to the Conjurers Guild. The chief bids me lend a hand, so I suppose I shall take myself there too. You, meanwhile, are to return to Rauger's Reach and report to Jesse. Okay, back to Girabania. Yeah, I heard there was trouble. What in the 7 hells happened? Excuse me. What? Omega loosed a fiend on Biggs and Wedge? Toying with people's lives like it was all a game. This is madness. Gav's not happy at all. It's like that, I'm angry look. Sir, will they be all right? Sid says the worst is past, but they still drift in and out of consciousness. They'll remain in the Conjurer's care for a time. Then all we can do is wait and pray. God, strike me down for a fool. I should have been more mindful of the dangers. I should never have... Nero says, should never have what? Activated Omega? You know as well as I do that there was no other way to defeat Shinryu. But is this truly any better? All of mankind is being held to ransom, and as the one who activated Omega, I bear the responsibility. The responsibility. Just the kind of thing the new you would say. You're deluding yourself, Garland. We are scientists, not heroes. Even you must concede your talents do not extend to combat. The old you understood this far better. He only looked forwards and gave himself wholly to science. And then you changed. You styled yourself a pacifist and started spouting tripe about the proper uses of technology. 'Twas in the wake of your old man's mishap at Boja, I believe. Calm yourself. All I wish to say is embrace who you are, a man who devotes his mind to making the impossible possible. Nero can be just such an SOB sometimes, just bringing up, throwing his father in his face. Sid says, with little prospect of restoring the stasis system, I'm afraid we have no recourse but to continue participating in Omega's tests. Assuming Midgard Sormerer has the right of it, we face a legion of foes from history, both real and imagined. Though I may not be the one who changes or charges into the fray, I shall fight beside you as best I know how. That said, it will inevitably fall to you to administer the coup de grace, old friends, so please, for Biggs and Wedge, and all of us, don't lose. Quay, quay, quay! Alpha says, I second and third that. Jesse says, I reckon the little scamp's trying to encourage us. Nero says, we've fallen far behind. We've fallen far indeed to earn its pity, said the former tribunus. Until such time as Omega next extends us an invitation, you will find me analyzing the data from our investigation. Good day to you. Before they were attacked, Biggs and Wedge discovered a tombstone. I shall examine its contents and take the information available on the terminal over there as I extract it. Feel free to refer to it whenever the occasion arises. There's no telling when Omega will summon us, but we must all see that we are ready when it does. Fear not, old friend. We'll get through it together, somehow or another. All right, the anomaly. Delta Force. I completed the quest, the anomaly. Jesse greets you with a grave expression. Gav, I'm glad that you're here. In case you haven't heard, we've observed a huge surge of anomalous energy coming from the yawn. I have a nasty feeling this means Omega's ready to go ahead with the next stage of its experiment. But Master Garland is on his way, so let's hear what he has to say. Care to share your thoughts on this, Chief? Our colleagues on the ground have reported the appearance of mysterious floating structures inside the yawn. If you recall, we were investigating a similar anomaly when Alpha and Alteroid made their appearance. Nero says, Omega certainly knows how to get our attention. I blush to recall the eagerness with which we plunged into the abyss, ignorant of the warped gladiatorial contest that awaited us within. But what a staggering collection of opponents, plucked from the pages of both history and fiction for their ability to pose a threat to Omega. And should you prevail against these interdimensional champions, what then shall be your prize? Why, a battle against the most devastating weapon this world has ever seen. How marvelous. He says with eyes of flame. For once, I wish you were being sarcastic. Nero's a little excited. Anyway, the energy surge, based on our previous experience, it seems highly probable that it is our signal to rejoin the fray. Needless to say, it is an invitation we cannot refuse. Not when the alternative is Omega unleashing its creations on Eorzea. Well, Gav, are you ready to answer the call? You can count on me. Well, I'm afraid Biggs and Wedge won't be answering any calls just yet. They're still mending from the ambush in the control center. Sid says, yes, of course. We'll just have to struggle on without them for the time being. Don't worry, Nero and I will see to it that you receive all the support you need. Defeat is not an option. Alpha says, Quay! I do believe Alpha here agrees. Oh, that reminds me, I've got something special for you, little fellow. Come with me. He has his own little uniform. He's part of the crew now. A custom-made Ironworks uniform? Oh, you do look smart, I must say. He's part of the expedition team after all, and considering the dangers lurking in that rift, it's only right that we give him some protective equipment. Sid says, how very thoughtful of you, Jesse. And here I was thinking you were just sizing him up for a new range of merchandise. Jesse says, unlike you, I can do two things at once. You can say, what about my protective equipment? You are a famous hero who can afford his own gear. I bet you could buy a house for the cost of what you're wearing. Joking aside, I doubt even a fine uniform like yours would last long on you, and what with all the fighting you get up to. We'd need to tailor something specific to your needs and make it out of far more durable materials, and by durable, I mean expensive. Saying that, if you were in a position to provide said materials, I'm sure our artisans would happily work night and day, all blissful smiles and sparkly eyes to make you something suitable. Nero says, fascinating though this discussion of Ironworks garmenture undoubtedly is, might our time not be better spent, say, traveling to the Yawn? Omega awaits. I didn't even know garmenture was a word. If you look that up, is garmenture really a word? Oxford Dictionary. Apparently it is really a word. How common is the word garmenture? Fewer than 0.01 occurrences per million words in modern written English. And apparently they're all in Final Fantasy XIV. Garmenture is an archaic version of the clothing of a person. All right, we're going to go to the Magitech terminal here. Initializing, welcome. How may I assist you today? Access the Savage Initiative. Good day, valued employee. Thank you always for your tireless efforts. Tell me, are you getting enough rest? Are you sleeping and eating well? Are your eyes not blurry from overuse? Here at the Garland Ironworks, your well-being is our priority. To that end, we have introduced a program to address work-related stress. Dubbed the Savage Initiative, for we must be savage on stress, it adds a touch of relaxation to the daily grind. For its maiden feature, we are pleased to bring you Mending Melodies, songs that soothe body and soul. This particular piece was composed and recorded for our benefit by a minstrel of no small renown. It has been proven to possess potent healing properties and promises to promote happiness as well as stimulate creativity. Yeah, I mean, that's the song you get when you're, like, creating a new character, so I guess you could say creativity comes into play there. Please be forewarned, however, that prolonged exposure may overstimulate the imagination, leading to the augmentation of one's memory. It is recommended that you enjoy the song in moderation. With that, I bid you a fulfilling day of striving for freedom through technology. Deltascape Savage now accessible. Cool. Read Omega records. I leave this record in hopes future generations may have windowed into the past. I am a technologist of the Allegan Empire, charged with conducting etherochemical research. Owing to the classified nature of this information, I am unable to disclose my identity. Lest you are unfamiliar, etherochemistry is a wondrous field of science established by none other than the great Emperor Zandi, who reigned until some 170 years ago. In his boundless wisdom, he shone the light of science upon the enigma that was magic and exploited such discoveries as were made for the betterment of the realm. Since its inception, etherochemistry has blessed Alleg with unprecedented prosperity, such prosperity as could be believed to endure for millennia, nay, for eternity. While Emperor Zandy's contributions to the science was immeasurable, we technologists who follow in his footsteps have also done our part for progress. Greatest breakthrough came 20 years ago when we finally succeeded in activating the weapon. At first, it communicated in some unknown language. As if sensing our confoundment, it began to acquire our tongue. In mere moments, it mastered it, and it called itself Omega. Technologist Record 2, but Blip Buzz. We first discovered Omega some 100 years prior. It was excavated from deep within the earth, where it had lain for veritable eons as though a fossil. Soil samples collected at the site told a startling tale. Omega originates not from this star. Yet another source of mystery was its condition. Among the many scars it bore, there were those that could not be explained by its impact with the ground alone. At the Emperor's behest, we studied Omega intensely and in secret. Nigh everything about it was beyond the comprehension of our sciences, and it instilled us with fear and awe of what lies beyond the skies. But then another momentous discovery. Omega was ever so slowly repairing itself by absorbing the surrounding ether. There we found a common ground with the etherochemistry and set about expediting Omega's repairs by infusing it with ether. In the course of observing the process, we attained many cues that gave rise to myriad new techniques. And then, within my generation, we succeeded in awakening that which had long lain dormant, Omega's behavioral systems, or its consciousness, if you will. While its functions are yet limited, it is fully capable of communication. It has even begun forging for itself a face, as if seeking to bridge the gap between us. Truly, Omega is a miracle of technology. Its discovery has advanced our civilization hundreds of years, and given time, it will advance it hundreds of years more. Through our research, the Empire Star will rise to heretofore unimaginable heights. Indeed, I envy the generations to come who will live to glory in the realm at her zenith. Glory be to Alleg. Long may she endure. Closing session. Thank you for your visit. All right. Meet Sid at the Yawn. So I want to unlock the next normal raid there. It's nice to have different ones unlocked, if for nothing else, for some variety, right? Alpha says, Quay? Quay? Nero says, take a good look, Gav. I think you'll find the wreckage down there quite familiar. How inviting. I'm ready when you are, Gav. Say the word and we'll take the plunge. Ah, duty calls. Commence battle for return to the rift, yeah. Although I didn't really want to do this in Summoner. Right then, into the Yawn we go. Midgard Stormers, I am with you, mortals, along with what scant wisdom I can provide. But wait, there's more. Interdimensional rift. Well, the rift seems much as it did before. And we appear to be mercifully solid, says Nero. Ah, but I do detect some changes. If I'm not mistaken, there are fewer eggs floating in the ether. Welcome, Alpha Group. Your prompt arrival is appreciated. Omega, 'twould seem your experiment continued in our absence. Affirmative. Progress has been satisfactory. Approximately 50% of the test subjects have been eliminated. It's a little grim. Each test world hosts an ongoing contest wherein the strong eliminate the weak. The process is certain, conclusive, inevitable. Every result matches the predicted outcome. Every result except yours. Do these images cause you distress? Please examine them closely. Without suitable stimulation, you may not exceed your calculated probability of success. Your survival is crucial to my study. Through you, I must continue to explore the contradiction I have discovered in your otherwise impotent kind. The ability to triumph against overwhelming odds is one which I must acquire. Midgard-Sommer says, foolish machine. What hast thou to show for all the years that have passed since the culmination of our war? Naught save thy continued existence. Hast thou no thought for what befalleth thy home star? Your attempts to provoke me will not succeed. I will follow my programming. Fight, win, evolve. Then I shall return to... Bloop, bloop. Error. Accurate rendering of planetary label impossible in current mode of communication. Terminating exchange and returning to priority experiment. Yeah. Hold on. Right. Omega says, alterations to equipment parameters detected. Recalculating projected combat capabilities. Boop. Complete. I will now commence recording your practical performance. Proceed, Alpha Group. Overcome the obstacles in your path and reach the end of the course constructed for you. It seems we have our orders. Shall we cut a path through the chaff, then? Ah, those are some nice cards, which means... One moment. Card, game, play. Play! You mean to play a part in proceedings this time? Of course that's what you meant. Well, we do have authorization to fight in this area of the rift, so I suppose there's nothing to stop you from joining us. Welcome aboard, Alpha. Gonna be an astrologian, maybe? I don't suppose I can switch gear. Nope. Oh, wait. Don't go without me. What did he say? Sid says, one of Omega's monitors. On your mark, Gav. He's invulnerable. Alpha, mind the... trap. Well, you're stuck now. Child's play. It's been a poor welcome thus far. Oh, let's just move along, shall we? Matter relocation device. Gav? Alpha? They're not here. We've arrived on different platforms. Come, Nero, we'll have to find them. Get out of that. Well, that's kind of fun. I haven't... I don't know how to play this class well at all. Like, before level 50, I can play it pretty decently. Over there, it could be a flash of light. Splendid, get on with it. Right, are we ready to, apparently not. Fortunately for you, I came prepared for the occasion. What a perfect opportunity to field test my latest creation. Ah, this shit-eating grin there. Wait. Jeff is sending something down from the skies. Behold, the Mark 48th Iron Nero, complete with the new and improved Mighty Mjolnir gunhammer. Step aside, Garland, and bear witness to the devastation. Sid's just going, oh God, not again. Go attack Nero! Oh, we want to keep him inside this area with Nero. So into your cards. Great work, Alpha. Finally, a proper challenge. I trust those tedious barriers are behind us. Jeff is still bad at his job. Yes. Yes, he is. You had one job, Jeff. One job. Oh, this is like a recreation of Zandy. Dadaluma. Like, probably doing this rotation completely wrong. Duty complete, yes! We're introducing new FC mates to the Jeff meme. That seems to be the end of them, and of the path as well. As far as operational duration goes, that was pushing the limit. Still, it should suffice. Sid says, in between scrambling to stay out of the way of Nero's new toy, I found myself wondering about that card you used, Alpha. Care to explain? Midgard Stormer says, he boasteth that it is but one of many tools at his disposal. Be not deceived by his appearance. Like all of Omega's creations, Alpha was chosen for his prowess in battle. Omega says, analysis complete. Results match revised projections. At this rate of improvement, you will fail to qualify as subjects of note. Midgard Stormer, your parameters are notably inferior. Midgard Stormer says, dost thou yet believe me, the mighty worm I was in life? That incarnation perished long ago. My fate was sealed the moment I delivered my spawn unto this far-flung star. That they might be suffered to remain, I did offer up my life unto Heidelin, abiding thenceforth in spectral form, a servant to be summoned in her hour of need. Omega says, your account correlates with my records. It explains why I arrived on this planet only to find that my journey's purpose was lost. Of necessity, my priority shifted to repairs, even as I searched for a new target of sufficient strength. Yet I still do not understand why you aid these creatures. Midgard Stormer says, I should think the reason plain, but mayhap 'tis not so for a soulless machine such as thee. By thee and thine was my home laid waste. The sound of thee, thy very scent, visited upon me a tempest of rage. I but lend these mortals what little aid I can render. Illogical. If your purpose is to facilitate my destruction, it would require an entity more powerful than you were at your prime. Without the means to muster such might, your presence here is meaningless. The experiment continues. Alpha Group, your next opponent awaits you within the Sigmascape. Enter and commence the test. Does the Mark 14 Thermocoil Boilmaster still work? The kettle is empty! There's no coffee for us. This is a terrible state of affairs. Quay. Nero. The Sigmascape, eh? I shall set to work analyzing the unspeakable horrors within. That should do. Our new base of operations is up and running. Now what I'd really like to do is delve a little deeper into Omega's past, but as our dragon seems disinclined to indulge my curiosity, we'd best focus on the task at hand. Let's get on with conquering the occupants of this Sigmascape, shall we? All right. Sid is ready to discuss your foray into Sigmascape. Before you cross the threshold, we should take a moment to discuss where we stand. That is the test world you need to conquer, the Sigmascape. Is that a mask or a face? The castle was certainly a surprise, but this is verging on disturbing. And we currently have no idea what it might signify. My first instinct is to dive straight into our analysis. The problem being that without a reference point from within the Sigmascape to start from, we have no way of knowing if we're even analyzing the correct data. Which means you'll just have to go in blind. Hardly the best way to enter into a fight, but needs must and all that. Are you up for the challenge? Yep, we are. Sid says, can I ask you to join him, Alpha? We seem to be fine out here, but Gav will need your authorization if he's to do battle inside the test world. Nero says, keep your wits about you, Savior. Your next opponent could be almost anything. Quay! Alpha appears eager to proceed. You may enter Sigmascape V1.0 whenever you are ready. All right. So we've got that unlocked. Let's exit, actually. All right. We're going to go to the Crystarium. I am going to take a quick bio break. I need something more to drink. So before we dive into our MSQ, we're going to take a quick bio break. That was really interesting about, the information about Midgardstormer and how his world ended up being laid to waste. We have to go to the pendants. We'll go there in just a moment. All right. I remember to unmute my mic this time. Hello, we're back again. Happy Christmas Eve, everybody. Hope you're having a great one so far. I actually made some cookies and stuff ahead of time so I could have time to stream. All right. Oh, I have a green dot up here. Refers to the strategy board. This was something they implemented. I don't have any strategies here for, you know, different things. I don't have any shared lists or folders, but you could share code. So if you want to import one, you can. Those are designed for, you know, Savage and Ultimates and, you know, the higher end content. And some of those can be quite challenging. We tried Hell on Rails last Saturday. That one was... I was just kind of starting to get it when we finished for the night. And it had a DDoS in the middle of it. We had to wait for everybody to get back because it just takes a while. So that ate a lot of our time, unfortunately. But we had a good time. That is like one crazy fight. Just crazy. All right. Whoever designed that fight clearly needs some psychiatric help with the insanity that ensued in that fight. All right, let's carry on with our Shadowbringers MSQ manager of suites. You seem surprised to see you up and about. Oh, sir, you're awake. You were injured during the foray on Monk Gulg, yes? I was here at my station, as always, when they carried you in on a makeshift stretcher looking disturbingly bereft of vigor. And to compound my worry, the sky was, well, I'm sure you've seen, it has everyone rather concerned, to say the least. Seeing you up and about is the first good news we've had in a while, assuming you're strong enough. Would you mayhap consider a stroll around the city to reassure our anxious citizens? Bragi was one of those who helped convey you to your chambers, and he has visited several times and since to inquire after your condition. You know what? I think I did part of this and we had DDoS last time and it wasn't coming back, so this may be a little bit of a repeat from last time. But that's okay. It's kind of the minor keys in this music, in the version of this city music. Really interesting. Well, look who's back from the dead. Aye, it was a grim sight. Your companions looked fair ready to drop when they brought you in, so I offered a helping hand. Couldn't bear to see them struggle so. And you, my friend, I feared you had one foot in the grave. Cold and lifeless you were, like a corpse that has, that was somehow still breathing. don't know if you can see Muriel or not. Then they told me some evil bastard went and snatched our poor Exarch away in the middle of the chaos. Wicked White, what is this world coming to? Wait, you come over here. Get down. I don't want her turning off my desktop again in the middle of the stream. Well, hi. Are you... No, you can't reach that. I'm sorry. Although you may give it a good try. She's looking at the pull for the ceiling fan, which is a good 3-4 feet above her. Alright, then they told me some evil bastard went and snatched our poor Exarch away in the midst of the chaos. Wicked White, what is this world coming to? But moaning never solved the thing, did it? Nay, it's times like these that we Crystarian folks stand tall and do what needs to be done. Trade with Ulmore is back on the table. We best make use of those resources to fortify the city against the Eaters or whatever misery the fates deem fit to throw at us next. Speaking of misery, Chessmail was worried sick about you. A healer wringing her hands is not a sight you ever wish to see, let me tell you. He's not wrong. If your doctors are worried, that's a bad sign. Unless they're like new, fresh out of med school, then they get a little excited sometimes. They haven't learned how to deal with the adrenaline. All right. Ah, she's at the Spaghereeks. Okay. Oh, sweetie, you're alive! Like, oh yeah. Thanks. No one's been allowed to see you. Even Spaghereeks chirurgeons were forbidden from making visits. Reen was kind enough to tell me you were showing symptoms similar to Eater corruption, so I suppose there was little any of us could have done for you in any case. As for your companions, they've been rushing hither and yon, seeking a cure to your condition. I worry to see their faces grown ever more haggard every time they pass through the Crystarium. I shall let them know you're awake, and when they come to see you, sweetie, please do convince them to rest a bit. They won't be helping anyone if they all collapse of exhaustion. Ah, and our own Morin has been little better, I'm afraid. He hasn't left the cabinet, too busy with his nose buried in one dusty tome or another. All right, let's speak with Morin. Confounded. This says the same thing as the last. Mayhap I should approach the problem from a different perspective. Gav? Is it truly you and not some figment of my imagination? Oh, but this is wonderful. 'Twould seem our prayers have been answered. Feeling otherwise helpless, I've been scouring our shelves for the wisdom to explain this most worrisome conundrum. Why, with all the Light Wardens defeated, has the light returned to obscure the sky? I must have pored over 100 tomes, but no definitive conclusion seems forthcoming. So many questions I would pose to the Exarch, and thus do I feel his absence all the more keenly. Now that you are awake, however, I am hopeful the search for our stolen steward might begin in earnest. Catless, meanwhile, leads the crystalline mean in preparations for battle. Though against what foe we are as yet uncertain, why not pay her a visit? I expect seeing you upright would be a much welcome relief. Okay, where do we have to go for that? The crystalline mean. Kelly says, Gav, alive and well, I see. You gave us all a proper fright, you know that? Not a day's gone by that I haven't heard folk worrying what's to become of you or the Exarch. Anyway, I'm glad you recovered enough to stand. You're not planning on striking out straight away, though, are you? I was hoping to have a better look at your equipment. If we'd been able to provide you with better weapons or sturdier helms, then maybe you would have won the day and Exarch would still be here. As such, we're keeping busy consulting each other on new forging techniques and designs and the like. If you could stand still a moment, I'd like to assess the gear we're trying to improve. Aye, well, that's some fine work, I must admit. It wouldn't be impossible to make something better, but we'd need to experiment with different patterns and materials. And I'm not sure we have that kind of time. That sounds like a challenge that he would enjoy. Greetings, Glenard. The Master of the Stairs is running his own errands now, is he? Aye, well, my servers are distraught enough as it is, and I didn't want to crack the whip too hard. But never mind that, I'm thinking our absent genius and his epiphanies are the perfect answer to this predicament of yours. And by genius, you mean old Grenold? He is a man of unrivaled gifts, I won't argue with you there. But what good does his talent do if we can't bloody find him? No one's seen hide nor hair of Grenold since he wandered off some years ago. You know what he's like once he latches onto an idea. He's probably cloistered himself in some forgotten cave, completely absorbed in his latest creation. I wouldn't even know where to start looking. That does make things difficult. Still, if that eccentric is someone you're destined to meet, I wager he'll show up soon enough. In my time at the bar, many's the tale I've heard told of strangely fated encounters, even if a few of them might be stretching the truth just a bit. Catelyn says, we'll keep our noses to the grindstone for the time being, but on the off chance you do encounter Grenold, you'd be wise to take advantage of his brilliance rather than wait on our slow and steady progress. This is all talk for when you're fully recovered, of course. I'll let you get back to convalescing, eh? Ah, before you do that, in fact, you're actually the reason I came over here in the first place. I don't suggest partaking of my stock until you're properly well, but if you're passing near the stairs, then I have a regular who's eager to see you. I'd best be getting back. Just because the world's coming apart at the seams doesn't mean we have to follow suit now, does it? Hear, hear. We can't forget the heart upon which this city was founded, or the Exarch might not have much of a home to come to return to. Gav looks a little concerned. In his garden, Catelys looks at you with a concerned eye. Gav, are you all right? I think a return to your sickbed might be in order. Ah, or you might consider resting a while atop the watchtower next to the rookery. This damnable sky doesn't make for the most soothing scenery, but the Exarch often liked to stand there and feel the wind upon his face. I don't know if we have to go... Yeah, we have to go there. Okay. You'd think they'd put a little elevator up there for us. I think this is one of the longer cutscenes, so having food buff on is a good idea.
The people of this city have spirit, I'll give them that. They've not lost the will to fight. I can imagine how torn you must feel, looking at that sky. Knowing what it means to everyone. And that you're responsible.
Yes, don't remind me. Hang on. You could say the secrecy is worse, I'd rather people knew, or I still can't believe it's coming from me, or it's all such a mess. I'm gonna go for the second one.
Neither can I, to be honest.
Gav's got a lot of guilt on his mind there.
But you heard what the Ascians said. The light you shine will warp the world around you, whether you like it or not. Even your Stola and Reen had to concede that point. You're in a corner, and there doesn't seem to be any obvious way out. That doesn't mean it's over. However hopeless it seems, you haven't lost yet. I remember looking up at the sky like this before. Being caught up in a strange kind of calm. It was after we realized we were responsible for the flood. When we resolved to journey to the source by taking our own lives. One last sacrifice. One last fight. One last failure. And then the Oracle appeared and, well, you know the rest. There were times in the years and decades that followed when I wondered if we might not have been better off just letting the rejoining happen. That we'd made one last mistake. But seeing that giant Talos stir to life cured me of any doubts I still had. Always we took the burden of fighting upon ourselves. That's what heroes do, isn't it? So we never had the chance to see anything like that. Our people coming together as one. To think that their hope still burned so bright. That they were still so eager to live, they would lift up their fellows, one on top of the other, till they reached the sky. No. We made the right decision. And I can finally feel proud of the part we played in helping this world survive. Well, come on then.
Fist bump.
As I thought. What happened between us was no coincidence. My story may be finished, but the fates have gifted me a minor role in yours. I suspected as much the moment I realized you could hear me. But it's hard not to doubt yourself when you're the man who caused the flood. I was afraid to do anything more than watch for fear of making things even worse. But no longer. After all, the path I once walked is now yours to finish. For what it's worth, I cast my lot with yours. If you need a push, I'll be right there behind you. If you lose control, I'll do my best to stop you. So, let us be about it, hero.
Gav looks a little better.
Oh, I was worried you were up here all alone, brooding and fretting and wallowing in your woes. But look at you, grinning at nothing like a pollen-drunk pixie.
I'm surprised Feoul can't see him.
Look at what you've done to your ether. It's a mess. And you have cracks running all through that pretty soul of yours. My poor little sapling. Whatever am I to do with you? Shall I yield up my throne? You could claim it, cut ties with the mortal world, hide away in the castle. It won't fix the problem, but would it really matter? If any pesky heroes come calling with steel and magic, all of Ilmeg will rise up in your defense. My crown and scepter are yours, if you want them. give me that look. Of course I knew before I asked that you'd never ever heed such a wicked suggestion. And besides, what would become of my precious and ephemeral flower? Oh, my dear beloved sapling. You are lost, confused, and have precious little time to gather your wits. Your kind is always so preoccupied with what lies ahead, and so we muddle your vision with fog and glamour. But such trickery is easy to see through. Stand very, very still. Think not of where you need to go, but where you are right now at this moment. At this time, in this place. Our cairn of crystal. From shadowed hood he watched you go, his ruby eyes with warmth aglow. See yourself as he saw you, and that shall be the clearest clue. You stand in his garden, dear sapling. Ask his flowers what they know, and you will surely find an answer. But what will you do with it, I wonder? I'll be watching and waiting. Waiting and watching.
All right, gather info on the Crystal Exarch. Jem Genmai. Oh, I did not expect to see you on your feet so soon. Surely you have not come in search of an Amaro. What do I know of the Crystal Exarch? I'm happy to share, but I fear there will be no surprising revelations. As any in the city could tell you, he's a man of wisdom and compassion and many untold secrets. Excuse me. But none can doubt his generosity. When the Crystarium was being constructed, he even allowed folk to plunder the tower for resources. He has imposed no restrictions upon us but one. No one except the Exarch is permitted to dwell within the spire. Many seasons past, a comrade of mine was bold enough to ask the reason why. The Exarch merely smiled and said, because one day the Crystal Tower may vanish as suddenly as it arrived. Right, we have to go up to the Amaro launch, it looks like. Kassard says, Gab, it's good to see you awake and alert, my friend. What's this about? You're not writing the Exarch's memoirs, are you? I'm not sure how much I can tell you, considering we avoid asking too many questions. Unspoken rule and all that. If anyone has fresh insights to share, then it'd be Captain Lena, I'd say. She lost her parents to an eater attack not long after she was born, and the Exarch saw to her upbringing. Outward appearances aside, those two are like grandfather and granddaughter. I imagine the news of his predicament hit her doubly hard. Not that our proud captain would ever let it show. If you do decide to talk to Lena, she'll be at her usual post at the Excelsior Gate. We have to talk to go to the Cabinet of Curiosity there. We're getting our thigh workout on the stairs today. Warren says, oh, was there something else you needed? If you'd come for the results of my research into the persistent light, I'm afraid there's little to tell as of yet. Records pertaining to the Exarch? Well, I need no documentation to relay what little I know of his history, if that is what interests you. Ahem. Less than a decade had passed since the coming of the Flood when the Crystal Tower first flashed into existence. Its summoner, the Exarch himself, became known to the refugees in Lakeland soon thereafter. He welcomed all who sought out the Spire, be they locals who had lost their homes or Verberites fleeing their ruined kingdom. Together did they build or found the city which would become the Crystarium. Some thought to call him king, for he refused to share his name, but the summoner did not deem himself worthy of royal address. Thus did the people consider his scintillating skin so alike to the tower he had summoned, and bestowed upon him the title of Crystal Exarch. As for his true name, well, 'twould seem that is a mystery that remains unsolved to this day. And, you know, not by some of us. Oop, wrong door. I have a feeling Lena's not going to be taking this too well. Gav, I was not told you had awoken. A welcome surprise, now if only the Exarch was returned to us. He was taken by this rival of yours, was he not? Your companions mentioned they had an idea of where to find him. And so I bristled when they asked for patience. I did not understand their hesitation until I saw that you had fallen. Only then did I realize that I had no business rushing ahead. Even so, the delay has been no less agonizing. In the moments before he left to join you in Colusia, the Exarch entrusted me with a key, It opens a door in the ocular to a chamber known as the umbilicus. This room is the heart of the tower, into which only the Exarch himself is permitted to enter. He bid me allow none into the tower once he had departed. Only in the event that an army of eaters descended upon the city was I to access the umbilicus and awaken the defensive barrier. Never before had he left me with such instructions, but the battle with Fothri loomed near, and at the time I accepted the key without much thought. Since then, however, that moment is all that occupies my mind. When I recall the look upon his face, he knew that some terrible fate awaited him. Tell me, Gav, I need to know what he feared. What battle you and your companions are truly fighting. Gav's going, I can't tell you. Forgive me. I trust in the Exarch, and I should not be voicing such doubts when he is not here to respond to them personally. But you have come to me with a question of your own, have you not? Ah, I see I am not the only one who burns for answers. Time has come to open the tower's heart. Though we do not face an invasion of eaters, I suspect the city will be in far more danger if you do not gain the knowledge you seek. Okay. Lena urges you to follow her. Come, meet me in the ocular and I will unlock the door within. Master Gav, the captain said to expect you. Enter the ocular, yes.
I have unlocked the door to the umbilicus. You are free to enter. Once you have what you require, I'll see it sealed once more. Until then, I will remain without.
Lots of books. Lots and lots and lots of books. Got an echo coming on.
Moment to collect my thoughts, I prithee. Thy true name is Grahatia, then. By thy claims, thou too art a native of the Source, though from an age beyond our own, when the eighth umbral calamity hath visited devastation upon our star. Thou hast, by subtle means, reached across the boundaries of time and space to unsow the seeds of catastrophe, ere its creeping vines drag our champion unto an early grave.
In essence, yes. A difficult story to swallow, I am sure.
doubt not the veracity of thy words, not the account of thy coming, nor that of the fated calamity. Yet my mind straineth still to apprehend the enormity of this tale. Wouldst thou favor me with a gradual unfolding of its chapters?
Translating. Said, a moment to collect my thoughts, I pray. Your true name is Grahatia, then. And by your claims, you too are a native of the source, though from a different age from our own, when the 8th Umbral Calamity has already devastated our own star. You have, by subtle means, reached across the boundaries of time and space to try to undo the beginning of the catastrophe, lest its creeping vines drag the Warrior of Light into an early grave. So the Exarch says, in essence, yes, a difficult story to swallow, I'm sure. Riange says, I don't disbelieve you. I don't disbelieve your account of your coming here or the fated calamity. Yet my mind strains still to understand just the enormity of this tale. Would you honor me with a gradual unfolding of the chapters?
Certainly. But where to begin? I should start with those great minds who survived the calamity. Cid Garland being perhaps the greatest. In hopes of staying the unending tides of war, he and his fellows pursued all manner of possible solutions. One of these was rooted in a theory which unified several fundamental principles discovered over the course of the Warrior of Light's adventures. It proposed a method by which one could enter the River of Time, traverse the rift, and leap between worlds. Perfecting that idea, however, was a work which consumed their lifetimes, and thus was it left to future generations to decide whether theory would be put into practice. But all the while, the world continued to burn. Hope was a feeble outpost, beset on all sides by thievery and misery and murder. People cried out in despair, "There is no hope, we are finished. Mankind is finished." Then others raised their voices in answer. Though we be beyond salvation, those who came before may yet be saved. We will forge a crossroads and pave the way for a different future. By the wisdom of our forebears, we will prevent this calamity from ever having come to pass. The fighting went on unabated, but some few took up Cid's research and labored to realize those impossible ideas. After 2 centuries of labor, their descendants finally succeeded in awakening the Crystal Tower, an integral part of the process, and, in doing so, roused its caretaker, me. By this stage, scholars had largely established the phenomena underpinning the rejoining, and identified the first as the shard which precipitated the 8th Umbral Calamity. This grand structure was already capable of storing the energies required to attempt the translocation. All that remained was to augment some few of its functions based upon the theoretical models of Cid and his compeers.
And by means of such technologies didst thou effect thine arrival in the first, to an age before this star had joined with the source.
Some while before, as it turned out. 'Tis all but impossible to predict how time will flow between one world and the next, and we missed our mark by almost an entire century. But this only worked in our favor. The Sin Eaters could not be defeated without the blessing of light, and summoning the only man who might stand a chance against them would require decades of preparation.
An undertaking of scarce credible endurance. That thou hast kept thy plan from falling into disarray these many years bordereth on the miraculous.
So, to go back, Urianger said, and the Exarch said all that remains was to augment some few of the functions based upon theoretical models of Sid and his friends. And Urianger says, and by using these technologies, you were able to, you know, bring yourself to the first, to an age before when this star had joined with the source. And so the Exarch says, and, you know, the Sin Eaters could not be defeated without the blessing of light, and summoning the only man who might stand a chance against them would require decades of preparation. Urianger says, an undertaking of unbelievable endurance, that you have kept your plan from falling into disarray these many years borders on the miraculous.
Yet howsoever history be rewritten, thy present self was shaped by events which followed the calamity.
Yet no matter how history is rewritten, your current self was shaped by events that followed the calamity.
Should said catastrophe be averted, the very skein of thine existence will unravel. Surely thou hast foreseen this.
Should the eighth umbral calamity be averted, the very thin thread of your existence will unravel. Surely you have foreseen this.
I am aware of the consequences. 'Tis for that very reason Sid and his colleagues bequeathed their legacy as an offering, and not an edict. To give all of oneself for the happiness of others, and with no promise of reward. 'Tis a hard thing to ask. Harder still for those condemned to survive in a world which pitted brother against brother. Indeed, you are right to call the execution of this plan miraculous, though the force which held it together was nothing so inexplicable. It was him. The warrior of light has been our unbroken thread. Where others would stumble and fall, he would rise above. Where others would break and run, he would carry on. The warrior of light's tale is one of unyielding bravery. To tell it was to feel courage. To hear it was to feel hope. It was a breath of inspiration in an age of suffocating shadow. In the histories of a fallen nation was our hero hailed as its greatest ally. In the time-worn pages of a noble's memoirs were his deeds joyously retold. For many, these stories were the flame which warmed them through the coldest of nights. And so it should come as little surprise that the plan found no shortage of volunteers, concerning as it did the warrior of light himself. It was their chance to add their own verse to the hero's saga. He was the lodestar that brought them all together, to send their final message back through time and space to him. The light of your legacy was our torch in the darkness. Burn bright again and live. I am merely the bearer of that wish, come to ensure it is safely delivered.
Riage's mind is blown.
Sharest thou this burden with me and no other? What wouldst thou have me say?
Why do you share this burden with me and nobody else? You know, what would you have me say?
That you will be my accomplice? 'Twas you yourself who convinced me of your suitability when you spoke of how you learned of the Flood and of your part in arranging Minfilia's journey to the First. Your actions showed uncommon resolve. 'Twas clear you were committed to the cause of saving this world. I knew I could trust you to choose the right path forward, even if that choice came with a heavy price.
What price?
When all is said and done, and the last of the Light Wardens lies slain, I will absorb their corrupted ether, and then I will die. Knowing what I know of your companions, not to mention your champion, they will try to stop me. But in saving one, they would save none. Therefore, I implore you to aid me in concealing my identity and ensuring this tale ends as it must. To this end, I would have you take what I have told you of the Calamity and make of it a portent, a prophetic vision you beheld in the swirling chaos of the Rift.
Is this truly thy wish?
History remembered the Warrior of Light, as I knew it would, and I will suffer no other to rescue the champion whose star has charted my course. I will see this tale to a happy end, my friend. There has been enough tragedy.
He's not happy
Careful
about
now.
them. Not happy about them concealing that from him.
If you lose control again, the light could claim you for good. Although it's probably only a matter of time before you succumb to the change in any case. What do you mean to do?
I mean to hunt down Emselk. I mean to rescue the Exarch. I mean to have a few words with both Emmett and the Exarch. Yeah, that. I mean to have a few words.
We only should be on our way. The Ascian mentioned the Tempest, did he not? That's the stormy seas around Calusia to you. His lair must be down there somewhere, hidden beneath the waves.
All right, Lena. Did you find the answers you sought? If there is nothing more you need, I will go and lock the door. I have questions about the Tempest. The Tempest? That is the name given to the seas by which Calusia is bound. If you make a request to the Tamers, they may provide you with an Amaro to fly you over the waters, but... Do you mean to leave right this moment? Alone? I am not sure that... Nay, I will not seek to stop you, Go with the blessings of the shadow, and I shall await you a safe return. Do you have anything else to say? A word to the tamers at the Amaro launch, and they will lend you a beast to carry you over the Tempest. I only hope that will be close enough to where you need to be. Okay. Let's go up to the Amaro launch. We're gonna go unlock that. You require an Amaro. Just a moment, and I shall saddle our swiftest beast to fly you to the island. The open water? To the depths of the Tempest? Our Amaro can swim, yes, but to reach the ocean floor.
Ah, we have found thee. Word reached us of thy recovery, and thus did we gather with all haste. Ah. By thy looks, I gather thou hast gleaned that which I came to tell thee.
So Mirashi says, "Oh, we found you. Word reached us that of your recovery, and that we came as fast as we could." And Gav just gives him a look. It's like, I'm so ticked off at you right now. Oh, by your expression, I gather you've figured out what I came to tell you. Going, yep.
Angers has shared everything with us. The Exarch's true identity and purpose.
I offer no excuses. When I agreed to aid the Exarch with his plans, 'twas in full acceptance of the condemnation I would face when my duplicity was laid bare.
When I agreed to aid the Exarch with his plans, it was in full acceptance of the condemnation I'd face when my lying was revealed.
Yet it is not rancor, but resolve that I sense in thee. Thou art fully intent upon walking thy path to its end, art thou not?
Yet it's not anger but resolve that I sense in you. You are fully prepared to walk your path to its end, are you not?
If thou canst forgive my deception, or, failing that, set aside thy displeasure for a time, I do beg leave to follow thee. What strength and wisdom I possess are thine to command.
If you can forgive my lying, or failing that, put aside your anger with me for a time, I do ask, I beg to follow you. The strength and wisdom I possess are yours to command. Say I'm a danger to those around me. Or no more lies, or I forgive you, let's go. I think I'm gonna go with that one. I want to see what he says.
I understand the precarious nature of thy condition. Nonetheless, it is my wish to remain at thy side for as long as I am able.
I understand how, teetering on the edge, you are with your condition, but I want to stay by your side as long as I can.
I'm sorry, but I don't think this is a good idea. Leaving the Crystarium, I mean, with or without Urianger. What I did for you won't last forever. There's no telling when the light will break free again. Please, you must stay here, at least for a little while longer. We will find a way to cure this, I promise you.
How can you make promises? We don't even know where to start.
Alize, please. You know Reen was only trying to help.
Of course I know! I know only too well! But making promises you have no way of keeping is not a kindness. It's a lie. Plain and simple.
Alize hates deception.
We've all searched high and low for an answer, and every one of us came back empty-handed. I am not about to stand in his way now. Not after failing him in his hour of need. No! The least we can do is...
We will go with you as well. There is naught to be gained by standing still.
Indeed, we have exhausted every other avenue. Lead, and we shall follow. If there is any hope to be found, then we will surely find it at your side.
Are we all in agreement then?
Is there aught we can do to help?
Though we may not know the whole story, we do know you're in for a fight. And while the Exarch's away, it falls to the rest of us to see the Warrior of Darkness is given a proper send-off.
You told them!
No. Well, not in so many words.
Aye, we didn't need it spelled out for us. When the night sky appeared over whichever place you went to, it was harder not to put two and two together.
From the moment I heard that you and the Exarch shared the homeland, I had my suspicions. Long had he been waiting for a certain someone to arrive, and I knew at once that it must be you.
Exactly. When he went up to meet you, it was clear it was no ordinary visitor. That spring in his step spoke volumes. I could feel his excitement.
Eat him! That's right!
We do not fully understand where you or the Exarch hail from, or why you've all done so much to protect us. But we are deeply grateful nonetheless. So, if there is anything at all we might do to aid your journey, you need only name it. What would you have of us?
You might have invited them to join us, where there are not so many. Come, they are waiting. What is your will, O Warrior of Darkness?
Defend the Crystarium until we return, or leave it to us. We'll see the Exarch home safe and sound, or hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. I think giving them a instruction that keeps them encouraged would be best. Let's see what the rest of them have to say. Alize says, just so you know, I will not look kindly on any further attempts to leave us behind. We do this together. A woman of action. I once said that I wanted to fight for Estinian, that I wanted to save him, not let him be sacrificed for a cause. Now I say the same to you. Ingrid says, gods know you've spent enough time charging into danger on our behalf. It's only fair that we return the favor. Reen says, there's nothing I can do to cleanse you of the light's corruption, but I'll do everything in my power to keep it in check. If the Warden's ether overwhelms you again, you will become a Sin Eater, so please save your strength for when it really matters. The volunteers who journeyed to Calusia have all been safely returned to their homes. They have also assured us that they will do their best to hold the Eaters at bay in our absence. Thou didst plan to commandeer an Amuro for thy journey into the open sea. I fear the following dive down into Emmett Selk's underwater abode would drain even thy legendary stamina. Okay, so you plan to take an Amuro for your journey to the open sea. I fear the dive down into Emmett Selk's hidey hole would drain even your legendary stamina. Thus, during thy convalescence, we considered the most efficacious method for reaching the depths of the Tempest, and I believe we have arrived in an elegant solution. So while you were in bed, we considered the best method for reaching the Tempest depths, and I think we arrived on an elegant solution. Yet ere we discuss this step, I suggest thou dost conclude such pressing business as remains to thee in the Crystarium. Once the sea closes above our heads, we are unlikely to surface again until our grand deed is done. But before we talk about this step, I suggest you can, finish up any pressing business that you have in the Crystarium, because once the sea closes above us, we're not going to surface again until our work is done. Does she have anything new? Alright. To storm-tossed seas. Urianger is patiently awaiting word that you are ready to depart. Thine affairs are in order? Then I shall unfold to thee my proposal. Okay, you got your affairs in order? Well, then let me tell you what I plan. Our destination is the ocean floor, yet our goal is not simply to arrive there. No, we must needs have the means to breathe and fight freely. So, our destination is the ocean floor, but our goal isn't to simply arrive there. We need to have the means to breathe and fight freely. Thus would I petition the aid of one of the Fae, a being with whom I have yet to meet face to face. So I would ask for help from one of the Fae, one who I've not yet met face to face. Rather than waste words on explanation, I bid thee follow me unto the hamlet of Sullen, which lieth to the south and west. All will become abundantly clear, I promise thee. So, rather than waste words explaining, just follow me to Sullen, which is to the southeast, and it'll all become clear, I promise you. Alright, speak with Urianger and Sullen. Port Job's probably the easiest to get to from there. I think. Actually, this starts a lot more cutscenes. And a dungeon or a trial, one or the other. And because of the time limits, we're going to leave it here for today because I need to go work on getting Christmas Eve dinner ready with the family. My son is making meatballs as we speak, and so we're going to have a nice Italian dinner. And I hope you all have a great Christmas, wherever you're at. And we're going to have our cat joke. Christmas-themed one, sort of. What do you call a cat who lives at the beach? Sandy Claus. Yes, Sandy Claus. All right. You'll have a Merry Christmas Eve and a Merry Christmas tomorrow. And I should be on again next week in the afternoon. I'm working that morning, which I usually don't do, but I am that weekend, or that week. But I'll be on in the afternoon, and we'll be celebrating New Year's Eve for a few hours together, I think. Although my friends might be coming over. I know my friends are going to come over for dinner, I hope. If everything works out okay. So, cats and kittens, you have a great one. MamaCatGamer is signing out.